Hello, and thank you so much for taking the time out to listen. Today, we're talking about toxic celebrities and the, unfortunately, occult leadership that rules them. For some of you all, it seems crazy, it seems far-fetched to know that you can't simply just listen to a song and not have some type of reference or something that is there to clog your mind, to mess with you a little bit. That you can't go to a concert without having some type of symbolism telling you about what you should and shouldn't do and what is happening and what isn't happening. Basically deceiving you into thinking one thing versus another. But in all thy getting, get some understanding. The Lord sees, the Lord allows, and the Lord will eventually come back again, as we've heard time and time again. And when he comes back again, it's going to be trouble like we've never seen, heard before. Okay? But in our preparation for what is to come, we continue to draw near to him, and we do not allow Satan's minions to take our minds, to captivate us to the point where we are not able to touch base with the one true God, tap into dimensions beyond this world of light and not of darkness. And as I've told many of you all, it comes with stillness like your ancestors did time and time again. There was no matrix, if you will. There was just people knowing that there is something greater than themselves. And every now and again, when they run into trouble, they reach out. And when they reach out with an openness, a willingness to do the right thing within, as the Spirit of the Lord fell upon them, then blessings came. Simple yet complex. Because the complexity of stillness and quiet and peace and raising vibrational energies and eating healthy, as many of you all know, it's a challenge. Sure, you can read the book about it. Sure, you can sit down and talk about it. And you can listen to some who have already been there and done it. But when it comes down to really working, how many of you all are really willing to see beyond the natural? When I see beyond the natural, I see the wickedness in celebrity world, toxic celebrities who are deemed queens, kings, toxic celebrities that are now elevating. You went from the I am God type of philosophy that I talked about some years back on camera. Yes, you can see my face. And I told individuals back then about this I am God and replacing God and putting, these people on a throne, if you will. And when I say replacing God, these were people who they knew God and they still know God, but they have fallen so far away from the Lord, and they know it. Rather than seek him, instead they seek within, or they seek whatever their handlers tell them that's going to give them more money on top of money because of the lifestyle that they chose. Now they have to maintain it. And in order to maintain it, you have to sign up with various occult groups, associations, reach out to your network. And then that network will make a decision whether or not you are worthy enough, whether you draw enough attention to then reward you some of those tricks and treats and goodies. And this is what we've seen with toxic celebrities. I'm not going to name a bunch of names because you all know, you have enough sense to know who is who and what is what. But what we are going to do is talk about what you need to do to make sure that you keep your mind, because Satan is after minds. And if I'm giving my mind over to a celebrity, and like one particular son, he likes to research and all of that. And I'm like, well, you already know. You know what they're about. You know what they're into. Don't get swept by. Don't get caught up in. The reason why I told you a long time ago, when you were a mere child, about some of these things was so that you would not be wrapped up in. And I'm so grateful that I did speak to my children about all sorts of occultic, shady, messy things, because they're not the type of people that's mixed up in or caught up in, like I've seen some of the young children nowadays, where they can't even reason critically at times because they've seen so much negativity, they've experienced so much negativity, and their minds have been unfortunately trapped by the negativity because they've got people around them promoting the negativity in a way that says, it's okay, it's all right, you're a free spirit, do what thou wilt. When I first came across this sort of mentality, it was when I stumbled across the Devil's Dictionary in addition to some writings by Anton LaVey. I did not know at the time that a black man could be a closet black Satanist, even though he doesn't declare himself to be that. However, if you mix what you think is okay with what God has specifically told you, because he was once very much a believer, next thing you know, you have this metamorphous, if you will, of this mindset that is convoluted, that is destructive, that is selfish, self-absorbed, narcissistic, and you are using people around you as slaves. Some of you all seen this on the family level. I need for you to see it on the toxic celebrity level. Don't let the money fool you. Don't let the names and lights fool you. That's nothing more than somebody's relative out there showing their behind, literally. Opening and closing legs. A high paid escort. A gigolo. A pimp. A player. A hustler. A gambler. Once again, don't let the names fool you. You see, I started off with family because I knew it was easier for you all to digest years and years of talking about family. Toxic family this and toxic family that. Then we moved into the workplace and your toxic managers and your toxic supervisors and your toxic co-workers. And then over time, I gave you a little bit of the occult here and a little bit there. And I went so far as to tell you about some of my experiences talking and observing. And now here we are, looking at toxic celebrities turned leaders, telling you what is okay and what is all right in pop world, media world. And being so bold, Satan, he is bold. Being so bold as to tell you mind control and brainwashing and pointing over there at the establishment when all along you're nothing but a puppet. We said this, pawns in the game, black and white, checkerboard, blood on the floor. Come on, when you put it all together and you see all of what you have seen over the course of your lifetime, you know that the ruling elite has long had slaves. They went off the plantation and just ended up on the court, ended up on the stage, the field. That same one, if slaves could come back, they would say there's nothing new under the sun. That same one who was, yes, massa, I'll be there. I'll take care of everything. I'll be whatever you want me to be. Right? Look at some of them old movies. I don't care what background you're in. Look at some of them old movies and how black people were depicted. Now, look at what's going on nowadays. Oh, that's offensive. That's terrible. No, it's not. It's truth. This whole channel's built on truth. So we're looking at what it is, what cannot be explained away. So I'm supposed to sit here and trust this puppet, this pawn, and allow this pawn, who's a pimp, player, hustler, gambler, prostitute, to tell me how to live my life? I'll unplug. I'll be homeless before I do all that. Matter of fact, I had talked to someone a while back about this sort of thing. Matter of fact, many someones, what am I talking about? Many someones about this sort of thing. And that's where we do have a meeting of the minds. We don't have a meeting of the minds sometimes when it comes down to the very fundamentals of Christianity, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. But we do have a meeting of the minds when it comes to pawns in the game. We do have a meeting of the minds when it comes to agendas being pushed that are of darkness, not of light. Remember, there's good and there's evil. There's two sides. They keep telling you that through all the movies. It's not just one group or one, subgroup of a group, but it's many factions, and many factions are not in support of other factions. And so over here, we are in the boardroom with the good, and then over here, we're in the boardroom with the evil. This is the sort of thing that some of these celebrities are doing. They're playing two sides of the fence. And when monies are low and that team of writers and that team of just all of what comes in celebrity world, all these different titles, when the money is low, we've got to rebrand. We've got to put you out there. We've got to do any number of things to get you your money, including pushing various agendas. But I don't agree with it. You don't have to agree with it. All you have to do, pawn in the game, is just get out there and do what we tell you, and you get paid handsomely for it. And every time you who are poor, broke, busted, and disgusted, or you who, I'm not poor, broke, busted, and disgusted, I got myself together, but you're taking partial proceeds and you're giving it to the elitist pawns, you're keeping them wealthy. Don't have generational wealth for yours, but you keeping them wealthy. And now, as I've told people in recent years, they have taken YouTubers and done the same thing. Your major YouTubers didn't just, it was hard work and title generation, making sure that you're giving value to the public and all that. Get out of here. I saw early on in YouTube who was moving up the chain rather quickly, who had deep pockets, just like a presidential candidate. You got deep pockets, you got a lot of network, right? You got a huge influence. You get to be out there. You pay for advertising. There were those who were discouraging early on because they picked up that, oh yes, those of us who've been in advertising or helped out in marketing or whatever our backgrounds were, they were like, ooh, they know about paid advertising. Well, let's just not encourage that sort of thing. Yeah, because then you don't grow your channel as quickly. Kind of marketed it as a bad thing to pay for advertising, when all along that's what many of them were doing. And they were doing sub for sub before that was banned, and they were doing all of those things that were called black hat techniques. You think I don't know? I know, but that's not what God used me to do, was to get involved with all of that. Because see, one thing I learned from a sales manager was that he said, I never want to be number one. And I thought, you don't want to be number one? He said, no, I'd rather be number 2 or 3, but never number 1. Because once you get to number 1, you're expected to stay that way. Okay? And so the pressure is on for you to maintain that. And then, of course, they put on all these other responsibilities and so forth. You see? So, no, let's be over here in number 2, number 3, and I'm quite content with that. See, and a long time ago, we were told, don't be number 2 or 3, be number 1. This is a new time, a new era, a new generation. If you could be somewhere on the top 10 list, well, that's okay. That's all right. Yeah, Well, guess what? You've got those occult establishments that see, hey, you know what? Top 100. We can make a little bit of money. Let's open this up to where we're going to have more people speaking on our behalf. Forget the top 3, the top 5, the top 10, the top 20, 50. Let's do not even 100. Let's do thousands. Let's open up these platforms. Let's open up opportunity and more ways to make money to huge platforms. Lots and lots of people that maybe at one point wasn't considered successful, but let's stroke their ego a little bit, and then let's conveniently reach out to them and tell them what we want them to do. And those who know you don't want to push this particular agenda and that one, we have other creative ways of getting you to support us. For me, that's why I want to know who the small businesses are over on my other channel, Resource Rundown. I want to know who the small businesses are. Because see, you see, when you have small businesses and small businesses who got power in the sense of we can move and shake up some things where no, we're no longer going to buy your products and therefore impact your money flow. Then we get what we want, how we want it. Preferably Christian businesses, people of faith. You see. And some of you all, that's what you are. You are a person of faith. You are a person of faith that is not called to support these toxic celebrities. So you don't pay for concert tickets. And you don't pay for their music. And you don't go over to their establishments and support them on everything and anything that comes out. Instead, we give to the locals. We give to the people in our community. We're not even giving to various YouTubers who are already established. Why am I going to give to a YouTuber that's already established? Why am I going to give to mainstream religious celebrities, faith-based celebrities, when I already know they already got many people entrapped? Not about God, because they long left God. God showed me that a long time ago. They're just doing a job. And they use various messages that are watered down, that don't have the power of impactful truth. And then you got some individuals that they expose just a little bit. One particular radio minister I listened to, and I was like, oh, okay, you did actually mention something about toxic celebrities and celebrity systems. And, oh, you mentioned the occult too. Well, kudos for you. But then at the same time, though, you made sure you were talking about those individuals over there, but you didn't attribute anything to the individuals that are within Christianity who are playing two sides of the fence, including yourself, Lord Jesus. See, cherry picking when you feel like it, when you want to, and all this other stuff. See, when God speaks to you, usually he speaks to you and there's this, should I really, do I want, I know that this is going to be something that somebody's going to try to, you see. But I'm going to do it anyway, though. Jesus, he knew Judas was there, and he went on and he continued to talk and he continued, to share the gospel. He knew Judas was following him. Come on. Judas, always looking for finding fault with, because I was so offended by such and such about 5 years ago, about 5 months ago, about 5 weeks ago, or 5 days ago. You took it to heart. As my one son goes, that sounds personal to me. Look, over 14 plus years speaking, you think that there weren't losses? Toxic celebrities experience their share of losses when they decide that they want to be like us. I feel like the Lord has called me. I feel like he's moved me to start sharing all of this that they got us doing. How they got us as mind control puppets, industry slaves. And yes, I want out. Oh, did you say you want out? So you're not continuing to support this. This is about you wanting out. Okay, we're going to go over every single platform and say, and then you plug in the celebrity's name, #wants out. Let's see if they really want out. Because, media has a way of spinning some things. She's just like you. Really? Is she really? Let's #one out. Let's truth seeker, truth teller. Let's put that celebrity's name out there on license, in license, say expose. #expose. They gonna call that person right back into that room or elsewhere and say, this is costing us some money. Your fans are saying all sorts of things. We need you to assure your fans that you are still doing this, that, and the other for us, but in a way that doesn't offend them. And then they got their little public relations team to spin some things. Oh, let's put out some video where you don't have any makeup and you're just like one of us. I told you I have a background in journalism and mass communications. Don't take me lightly. I'm serious. They will do the media spins, right? The media spins of what they were attempting to do was tell us the truth. And of course, they got their people watching every tweet, watching every move, listening to what they're saying when they're at their concerts and elsewhere. Don't you turn into a Kanye and start telling business. Now, I know you're frustrated. I know you're tired. I know you were offended by whatever the group said, but you want this money, right? And you don't want sudden issues, if you will, showing up on your family. So you get back out there and you do what you're supposed to do. Hypnotic. Interesting movie that came out. Ben Affleck. Fighting for his family. Had to go so far as to hide the whereabouts. If you didn't see the movie, well, there's a few spoilers. So he's hid the location of his daughter in his mind. No amount of brain suggestion, hypnotic, whatever, to get this child to, I hope I'm giving the right title, but to get this child out of the mindset of him. The key to getting that location was so that they could use that child. Another industry slave. You see, celebrities don't do so well with protecting their children because they've already got connections, you see, within the industry that tell them what they're supposed to do with the child. Once again, it's about that money and keeping people paid as well. And, of course, maintaining certain power superiority over the masses. And so here you have this celebrity who's trying to protect the child. And it is. I wanted to confirm the movie. Yes. It is called Hypnotic. Came out 2023, depending on the time that you're listening to this message. I'm just going to read the summary verbatim to you. Determined to find his missing daughter, Detective Danny Rourke finds himself spiraling down a rabbit hole while investigating a series of reality-bending crimes. Aided by Diana Cruz, a gifted psychic, Rourke simultaneously pursues and is pursued by a lethal specter, the one man he believes holds the key to finding the girl. That is what the movie summary is. That is not what the movie is. That's why I think many people ended up giving it 2 stars, 2.5 stars. You see, Detective Danny Rourke really is the one who has been mind controlled, and that they created this narrative, if you will, that he is this detective when in fact he is not. He's basically a pawn in a game, a group. And Diana Cruz is part of this group, you see. And he knows where his daughter is. All of the mind games that people play. What you see isn't really what you see. But I know what you did in the other room. And I know that I had such and such laid down right here. And I know that you went into the room and you have cameras set up everywhere. But the person will still deny and say they never went into the room and they never touched anything. I said, you know what? Lie. Some of you all have had these sorts of arguments with individuals when it came down to just basic conversation about something in media. You see that symbolism there? Yes, I see it. And then you pull out an old book or you show a video. This is what that means. Oh, it's just music. Oh, you just think too deeply. Of course, Satan wants you to not see the spiritual. He wants you to see in ways where I don't exist, but I do exist. Some folks can't get a handle on this sort of thing to save their lives. I want to see, but I am afraid of what I might see. Because that's years of listening to that celebrity. That celebrity's voice was there when I was going through this issue and that issue. It was her song that lifted me up. It was his drum. It was her guitar. It was that one's flute please tell me, can I tell you that sound is hypnotic? It's trance-like. It raises vibrational energies of good and of evil. It can keep people entrapped in the past, where all you want to do is keep listening to the sounds that you grew up with. That's why some people are obsessed with the past, because it was a time where things were quite innocent. Can I tell you that sometimes I've used sound from the past in order to generate thoughts to create a book? Or a sound that I heard somebody else play generated a thought for me to communicate what it is that I need to communicate, tied with what God has told me. And so now I have a complete message that has brought about some change in someone. And what God is commanding is that you need to let go of toxic celebrities. He understands the complexity of why you follow after that one and why you follow after this one. For some individuals, I know for me over the years, I was connected to some of these celebrities because of what I had experienced back in the day during a time prior to being in a violent relationship. So the peace of mind that is experienced prior to a traumatic event is what connected me to the celebrity. But then God says, I understand what you're doing. However, don't get caught up in the celebrity worship, Lord Jesus. You can admire someone's talent, but don't get caught up in the celebrity worship. Satan wants these fans, fanatical individuals, to be in this celebrity's life in such a way where they worship the celebrity. That is not what God has called us to do. That is ungodly. That is unrighteous. It is toxic. The blind leading the blind. The toxic leader controlled, puppet on strings, a robot, a pawn in the game, a player, a pimp, a hustler, a gambler. Teaching you? Advising you? Is that what you want? God says for some individuals, that's just what they want. So let them go. But no, let them go. I don't even have my hand on them. And we know where go means in the spiritual realm. We know where go means. We rebuke Satan. We rebuke the spirits. And we ask that they go back to hell from whence they came in Jesus' mighty name. Strange things happen as I do messages. Sometimes technology starts acting up. Doors come open, like just now. Oh, yeah. Maybe I should be one of those who sets up a camera so you can see sometimes. Sometimes a light has blown. It happened not in my household while I was doing a message in my own room, but it did happen multiple times when I went back to my childhood home and had recorded messages. And my mother asked me, she said, why is it that when you show up, I end up changing light bulbs more so than I ever do? Celebrities through the movie screen. Years and years of watching all sorts of interesting things in the room that I used to stay. And the spirits were like, oh, here she go. Here she come with her praying and so forth. Celebrities, when they are recording movies, when they are recording songs, when they are creating art, when they're doing a variety of things, you don't know who is behind the scenes, who is chanting or praying over that, or what they lit in terms of an incense, while they were creating that, or what was on set. And so various spirits are invited in, and they attach themselves to various entertainment. And when you are not guarded in the spiritual realm and you're watching these sorts of things, or if you're in a territory where they feel like you shouldn't be, they will stir up the atmosphere so that things don't work out, or that there's a distraction so that you won't do some things. They will even inhabit those who have viewed the material, who are open to all sorts of suggestive practices, to come in and try to recruit you or distract you or pick a fight with you. Okay? Oh, I'm revealing some things here, how deep this goes. And so you at times have to be the one who, let me look around and see what's hanging on a wall. Let me rip that off the wall. What is that on the shelf? Let me take care of that. A long time ago, I had encouraged as well as rebuked, and I was sometimes quite zealous and bold about removing items out of your household. If we're going to have a state of stillness and quiet and peace and seeking God for next direction, I shouldn't be looking at a poster of a celebrity while I'm doing this sort of thing, or having the music of a celebrity who we know better, the symbolism is there playing in the background, or even a person who creates various sounds for meditation. Not every one of those videos out there, the sounds are for good. If you've ever gone to movies and you've listened to some of the music or some of the sounds, you know that there are those sounds that they will inject into the movie to create a calm. Sometimes it creates chaos. Sometimes it creates indecision, confusion, whatever it is. Sometimes the person who has created it doesn't even know what it's going to bring about. And then those who are professionals will study and learn some things and go, that movie should never come back out again. That television series, no, we need to do away with that. It caused too many problems the first go round. It's going to cause even more problems. You got to know the season. And some of these shows, they had a good run back in the day, but they shouldn't continue to run. There are some of the songs that they had a purpose, a specific purpose during a certain time period. Now you bring that back around again, and now there's all hell, you see. A toxic celebrity appointed, used to do some things for the establishment, governed by an occult elite, seen as well as unseen, to get you to ultimately do what Satan wants you to do. Do what thou wilt. There it is, further explained. I told you that as I have walked with the Lord, we have walked and observed what the satanic beings in the spiritual as well as in the natural have done with men and women. And the thing is that even though the most smartest, most intelligent human being is used to create some of the most wonderful things in our lifetime as well as in previous lifetimes, in time they go mad. Because they were serving two masters. God gave them the talents, the skills. But then along comes a group that they have their master, the children of darkness, who will then infiltrate some things that ultimately do what? Not work, right? Things that end up causing massive issues that bring about tragedy. God is on a roll. Don't sleep on this channel. Don't sleep on God. I thank you as always for taking time out to listen. You've been listening to YouTube and I'm Enterprise 7. Feel free to like, subscribe, comment. We do welcome giving on this channel. Thank you in advance. And when I say giving, there are links in the description box. Blessings to you.